Xbox Project Roma is finally here, but it took a little bit longer than expected to arrive. Way back in 2018, I caught wind of something called Project Roma, along with a bunch of other codenames. And at that time, I said, along with Maverick, Microsoft is planning Roma, which is a digital attach feature for the Xbox. What this will allow you to do, as long as it is shipped as planned, is order an Xbox One with digital services attached to the hardware when it ships to your home. Now, we haven't heard much about Project Roma. For those who aren't familiar, Maverick was the all-digital Xbox One, the one without the disk drive. But Roma was always kind of on the back sideline. Nobody really cared about it, but it looks like that project has finally shipped, and Microsoft is calling it Digital Direct. And if we jump over to the website for Digital Direct from Microsoft, they describe that feature as, with Digital Direct, no codes are required. All digital content, including games, subscriptions, and exclusive content, will be redeemed to your Microsoft account and directly delivered to your Xbox console during setup. Digital Direct is Project Roma. It's pretty clear that this feature, what it allows Microsoft to do, is to preload games onto a console or a type of console, or potentially link that type of console directly to content, which is how I actually probably think it's happening. But either way, what this allows you to do is when you're setting up a console like the Cyberpunk 2077 console, which Microsoft has recently shipped, that's a limited edition. People over on Reddit, by the way, also got a little pamphlet in their thing saying, hey, look, the game code isn't actually in here. We're using Digital Direct to do this. And this is how this all became uncovered. What happens is when you're setting up that console, the first Microsoft account or Xbox account, whatever you want to call it, that logs into the console has that game attached to it. So it's a Digital Direct service directly to it. No longer do you have to punch in that massive string of text and characters and everything else and Batman symbols to be able to download your content that is bundled with the console. Microsoft has found a way to take all those bundled consoles, put them in this Digital Direct service, and that way it's a little bit better of an onboarding experience for the user because now they don't have to enter in all those codes, especially if there's a couple games and all that stuff. We know the story there. Now, for most people, I think this is going to be a good thing, but there's definitely some downside to this. For example, if you buy let's say a bundled console and it comes with 3 games and you already own 2 of them, and you're like, well, I'm going to sell that third game. It doesn't look like that is actually possible right now. So you're pretty much, if you buy a bundled console, just assume that you have those games and you can't get rid of them, and that's just the way it is. What we don't know yet, and this is unconfirmed, and I have a question out to Microsoft, one user on Reddit says, hey, if you already had pre-purchased the game, you actually get a credit back for it. So potentially Microsoft might do that for other bundled services. We don't fully know the answer yet, but I have a question out to Microsoft to clarify what will happen in those edge case scenarios. So just keep that in mind. Now, the bigger question here is this is how Microsoft is going to do this for every bundle going forward. It seems like it might be a slightly more cost-effective way than trying to shove those codes down into the boxes for users. So potentially this is just a further optimization of their pipeline of consoles, which is going to save them a little bit of dollars on the hardware boxing and shipping and logistics and all that stuff. Either way, Project Roma is Digital Direct. It is finally here. Cyberpunk 2077 is, to my knowledge, and there may be other titles that do this as well, but to my knowledge is the first one to take advantage of this new service from Microsoft. Now, obviously, it looks like more than likely for next gen, this is going to be part of the deal as well. And this should also help things like the all digital version get up and running a little bit smoother as well, and just basically make onboarding an Xbox a new Xbox console, if you will, just a little bit easier. Now, if I jump back into that time machine and look at everything else that I wrote about, that there's only one thing that has not come to market yet that I originally talked about, because I should say technically 2. We don't know about Lock Carpet. Everybody is assuming at this point it is real, but we all have Anaconda, we have the Maverick, we have all the other stuff that I talked about back in 2018. The one thing that has not come yet is the disc to digital program. Now, I still don't know where this is in the pipeline, but considering how long it took Roma 2 years, 18-ish months to come to market, maybe the disc to digital program isn't quite dead yet. If anybody actually knows, I would love to hear your side of the story and see what's going on with that project. But disc to digital potentially could still be floating around, but I haven't heard anything about it pretty much since like early 2019, something like that. So I was trying to think, I was getting my 2020, 2019, 2018s mixed up there. Anyways, so there you go. Project Roma alive and well. Digital Attach is the feature, or Digital Direct, I should say, is the actual feature name. It looks like it's going to be a core part of Microsoft's going forward strategy with bundled games and services coming down the pipeline. I'd love to know what you guys think, but there you go. Project Roma finally revealed.